Don't feel like it? Do this. The 1% don't wait for motivation to strike. They don't sit around hoping inspiration will magically appear. They don't make excuses or wait for the perfect conditions. They act. When the 1% don't feel like doing something, they do it anyway. They understand that action precedes motivation, not the other way around. They know that the ritual of showing up and doing the work is far more important than feeling ready or inspired. The 1% have learned that waiting for the right mood or the right moment is a recipe for mediocrity. They've internalized the truth that greatness is built through consistent daily action, even and especially when they don't feel like it. So what exactly do the 1% do when they don't feel like it? They initiate, take the first step, no matter how small. They focus on the ritual, not the result. Maybe it's sitting down at the desk and opening the laptop. Maybe it's putting on the running shoes and stepping out the front door. Maybe it's picking up the phone to make that difficult call. The specific action doesn't matter. What matters is taking that first step to build momentum. The 1% know that motivation often follows action. Once you start moving, it's easier to keep going. The hardest part is often just beginning, so they lower the barrier to entry. They make it impossibly easy to start. Can't face a full workout? Do one push-up. Can't write a whole chapter? Write one sentence. Can't clean the entire house? Clean one surface. By initiating action, even in the tiniest way, the 1% overcome inertia. They get the ball rolling. And more often than not, that small start snowballs into meaningful progress. The 1% also understand the power of ritual and routine. They don't rely on fleeting bursts of inspiration or motivation. Instead, they build rock-solid habits that carry them through, regardless of how they feel on any given day. They show up at the same time, in the same place, ready to do the work, whether they feel like it or not. They know that consistency compounds over time. Small actions, repeated daily, lead to massive results. The 1% have learned to separate their actions from their emotions. They know their feelings are fickle and unreliable. Some days they'll feel energized and excited. Other days they'll feel tired and unmotivated, but their actions remain constant. They've trained themselves to act based on their commitments, not their momentary feelings. They do what needs to be done, regardless of their mood or energy levels. They've cultivated the discipline to push through resistance and discomfort. The 1% also reframed how they think about motivation. Instead of waiting to feel motivated, they seek motivation through action. They know that starting is often the hardest part, but also the most crucial. They focus on building momentum through small wins. Each little victory, no matter how tiny, fuels their motivation and propels them forward. They celebrate progress, not perfection. The 1% understand that motivation is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. By consistently taking action, even when they don't feel like it, they're strengthening their ability to push through resistance and stay committed to their goals. They've learned to embrace discomfort as a sign of growth. When they don't feel like doing something, they recognize it as an opportunity to expand their comfort zone and build mental toughness. The 1% also leverage the power of accountability. They make public commitments. They surround themselves with like-minded individuals who will hold them to a higher standard. They know that external accountability can provide that extra push when their internal motivation is lacking. They use tools and systems to make it easier to take action. They remove friction and eliminate excuses. They prepare in advance, setting themselves up for success, even on low-energy days. The 1% have learned to manage their energy, not just their time. They tackle their most important tasks when their energy is highest, regardless of how they feel. They know that waiting for the perfect mood often means important work never gets done. They've mastered the art of getting started. They break big, daunting tasks into tiny, manageable steps. They focus on taking that first step, knowing that momentum will carry them forward. The 1% also understand the importance of rest and recovery. They know that pushing too hard for too long leads to burnout, but they approach rest strategically, using it to recharge and come back stronger, not as an excuse to avoid difficult tasks. They've learned to distinguish between genuine need for rest and simple resistance. When they truly need a break, they take it without guilt. But when it's just resistance talking, they push through and do the work anyway. The 1% have developed a growth mindset. They see challenges as opportunities to learn and improve. When they don't feel like doing something, they reframe it as a chance to build mental toughness and discipline. They focus on the process, not just the outcome. They find ways to enjoy the journey, even when it's difficult. They cultivate a sense of purpose that carries them through tough times. The 1% also use visualization and positive self-talk to overcome resistance. They imagine how good they'll feel after taking action. They remind themselves of their why, the deeper reasons behind their goals and commitments. They've learned to quiet the voice of their inner critic. Instead of listening to self-doubt and negative self-talk, they choose empowering thoughts that propel them into action. The 1% understand that motivation is fleeting, but discipline is reliable. They've built a foundation of strong habits and routines that carry them through, regardless of how they feel on any given day. They know that waiting for motivation is a losing game. Instead, they take consistent action, trusting that motivation will follow. They understand that the feeling of motivation often comes after starting, not before. The 1% have learned to embrace the discomfort of growth. They know that the things that are most worth doing are often the things they least feel like doing in the moment. They've trained themselves to lean into that discomfort, knowing it's the path to progress. They focus on taking the next right action, no matter how small. They trust in the compound effect of consistent effort over time. They know that small actions, repeated daily, lead to massive results. The 1% don't wait for perfect conditions or perfect motivation. They start where they are, with what they have. They understand that readiness is a myth. The way to get ready is to start. So when you don't feel like it, remember, don't wait. Initiate. Take that first small step. Focus on the ritual, not the result. Trust that action leads to motivation, not the other way around. That's what the 1% do, and that's how they achieve extraordinary results.